to talk to you guys about our next what if question. So I got this question from somebody that is amazing and is super helpful in getting things together. And anyway, so Jackie, you're fantastic. Thank you so much for this question. But the question is, what if I need to paint fast? Painting fast is a big deal in the industry, especially if you're doing line work or if you're working with a lot of kids at a situation like a festival or a fair or a school carnival. Painting fast is really important. Let me tell you a little bit about why. Number one, people hate waiting in lines. And so the faster you are, the faster the line moves. And even if the line is super long, a fast moving line is so much better. So we want to paint fast to keep that line moving. The next reason we want to paint fast is because if we are being paid per face, the faster we paint, the more money we make. And for those of us that are trying to make money with this, that can be a really important thing. So we want to paint fast, keep the line moving, and to make sure that we're capitalizing on the opportunities we have to earn. The next reason that we want to be able to paint fast is we want to be able to paint more kids. If you're in a situation where there's only 2 hours, you can't stay longer, and there are 50 kids, painting fast means more kids will get painted, and that matters. We care about that. So all of these reasons are good, and we have these reasons. Oh, hey, Ruby, nice to have you here with us. We have these reasons, and they're important to us, and we care about them. What does that mean, though, for us? Is it means it creates pressure. And that pressure is devastating. If we like lift something heavy, it's like, I don't know about you, but I've been in a situation before where I'm trying to paint fast and there's a long line and I feel stress, and that stress creates jitters and I end up painting slower than I normally would paint. Trying to paint fast is actually messing with me, and I'm not even painting as fast as I normally would. So the first thing I have for you is hustle, don't hurry. Okay? If you think of somebody that's hustling, it's like, oh, I got this, and let me grab that, and let me grab that. They are in control. And we want to make sure when we're painting fast, we're in control. Hustle, don't hurry. If we are hurrying, it's like, oh, I got to do that, and I got to do that. And do you see my face is even like not in control anymore? I'm panicking. And that panic is awful. We don't want to do it. So we're going to hustle, not hurry, as we try and make more money, paint more kids, and keep the line moving. All right? Okay, so how do we do that? Well, number one, we're going to shift where our brain is. How do we be in a hustle mindset? The first one is that we want to be worth waiting for. This is a self-value thing. We want to know that if a kid waits an hour to get their face painted, it's worth waiting for that. Hi, Lori, it's nice to see you too. We want to be worth waiting for. We want to have that in our core, that the people waiting for us, it's something that they can do. Okay, next thing, you're not making anybody get their face painted. Face painting is a voluntary thing. It's not going to, oh, Christy, it's not something we're going to be messing with. It's not something that they have to get their face painted and we're making them wait an hour and a half. That's their choice. And so one of the worst things we can do is to absorb other people's responsibility and choices. That's, if we're stressed about the birthday party parent, I'm sorry, that's not our job. The event coordinator, that's not our job. Like, it is so nice to remember, what is my job? To paint the vase. The other things, they're not my job. And so if somebody is waiting for you for 2 hours, if they're waiting for 10 minutes, I've had people, and I will have been painting for 15 minutes. That's it. I've been there for 15 minutes. And the person is like, I have been waiting in this line for 45 minutes. And I'm like, there's only been a line for, and so it's one of those, it's not our job. It's not our job to wait for us. It's our job to paint. So let them be in charge of them. If there is a 45-minute wait, if there's an hour and a half, it's up to the parent. They picked that. So let go of that stress if you can. It's hard, but let them be in charge of their own choices. Okay, next, let's set self-realistic expectations. There is a limit to how fast we can paint. Even if we were doing mustaches, black line work, 2 curls, that's all we're doing, you'll still not be able to paint more people. Like, there is a point at which you max out, and be able to accept your own max out point. So whether that is, okay, I can do 15 unicorns in an hour, or I can do 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. We don't want to be an auctioneer. Like, don't do that to me. Don't just try and shove these paintings down my throat. Like, no, clock, 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 click, 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 click. No. Like, allow there to be realistic expectations and live with those and revel in those. I used to paint 6 faces per hour. Now I can paint 7. Look at me, and be in a happy place. We want to be happy as we're painting. Please, I want to be happy. So it is fine. Wherever you're at, it's fine and it's wonderful and it's beautiful. Try and be in that space. Now, I'm going to tell you a story. Hi. From my own life. And this is where I love paper face. Hourly isn't my favorite. And I was working with another painter and she loved hourly and didn't love paper face. So we're in an hourly environment and I am trying to be a good value to the person who hired me. So I was stressed. I was trying to paint as fast as I could and get as many kids as I could because they're paying me the same whether I paint 5 kids or 15. So I want to make sure that I'm a good value for them. And what I didn't realize is the experience kids were having with me wasn't that exciting. It was, okay, go ahead and climb on up. What one did you want? What was your favorite color? Like, I was hurrying and it wasn't a great experience. While this other painter, oh my gosh, and I'll just tell you, it was Denise Cold. We were together and she was glowing, she was shining, she was in her element. Every kid was getting these amazing designs and she was having a wonderful time. And I realized, even if I paint one more face than she does, every single person that got painted by her had a better time than anybody that got painted by me, regardless of what the paintings looked like. Like, she was giving them something magical that I wasn't. And so I was able to really take a look at myself and to be like, I want to be more like Denise. And so I think of her every time I'm being paid hourly at a corporate gig. I'm like, you know what? We need to paint like Denise today. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful thing when we can remember to take care of that expectation, to take care of that experience and to be there for them. So whether it's 5, it's 5. If it's 15, it's 15. If it's 20, it's 20. But let there be a limit to where you say, I'm going fast enough. And you can still hustle, but don't hurry. Okay, awesome. So it's a myth that the faster the better. One thing that was really interesting for me, I'd been painting for 2 or 3 years, and all of a sudden, every summer, I'd get better. I'd get better, I'd get better, I'd get better. And some of you might be in that position where it was like, oh my gosh, my butterfly looks better this day than it did 2 weeks ago or whatever. And that's exciting. But at some point, you cross this line of, I can paint better than I should right now. Halloween is a time where we bring out the big guns. We do our very, very best work. And that's wonderful for Halloween. Yay, go Halloween. But at a festival, doing the most intricate, realistic unicorn is actually not the best choice. We want to be able to do something that keeps our line moving. So learning what, and we're not talking about cutting corners, but we're talking about making a productive choice. So if you think of a sandwich, you can make a gourmet sandwich where you made the bread from scratch. If your kid comes up to you at 12:30 and says, Mom, I'm hungry for lunch, are we going to start making bread? Of course not. We're not going to. So what do? Use rainbow cakes, use split cakes, have all of these time-saving things that other painters are super into there for us to be able to get there. If that's using a stencil instead of taking the time that it would take to paint every Little Mermaid scale. Oh my gosh, yes, use a stencil. There are these time-saving techniques, and what will that do? That will help you paint faster. But know that it's totally fine to do a PB&J sandwich face painting. Absolutely. I'm so glad you're here, Cass. I'm glad you caught it too. Okay, so the next one is find your balance. Are you painting too fast? Are you cutting too many corners? Are you skipping all of the highlighting and you don't add glitter? And like sometimes I've even skipped the black outlining and it's just like butterfly 1 stroke, you're done. Are you painting too fast? Or are you painting too slow? Is it something where you didn't take a break and your blood sugar's low and your hands are drooping? Like, absolutely, it happens. It happens to all of us. Be able to understand that it's a balancing act. Sometimes we will paint too fast, sometimes we will paint too slow. And we just have to understand the big question is why? Why are we painting fast? What is the priority? Are we trying to get through a lot of kids? Are we trying to maximize our earning? Are we trying to hurry up because it's the end of the event? And there are different ways to tackle each of those priorities. So understanding why you're painting fast is the first goal. If you're painting fast because you feel an inner pressure to be fast, let it go. You don't have to be fast. And in fact, you probably are fast already. Like even the slow painters, you're still painting fast. I've been with people that it takes like half an hour for a single design. And that's not going to hold up if you're in a professional face painting environment. But if you're in a professional environment and you're painting 6 or 7 per hour, that's still pretty fast. And so what do you need to do if you feel like you're not fast enough? Let's talk about that. How do we get fast? Okay, first one is you want to understand what is slowing you down. It's so sad to me when people cut corners on their painting, because the painting is actually one of the fastest parts of what we do. So let me show you some of the other time-saving areas. When you look at bike riders, the really, really like long bike racing people, they do all kinds of things to have the minimum amount of weight on their bike ride. They spend thousands on their bike. They try and cut down, like their clothing is super lightweight, and they even drop their body weight to try and have a light bike. And that's what we're trying to do with this. We're trying to find all the little areas where we can get rid of time. So first one, most important, here we go. Number one, stay organized. If you are looking for that brush, or you're looking for that color, or you're looking for that glitter, or you're looking for your mirror, that's going to slow you down. So some of the things you can do is you can have areas like different organization trays. There are little, at Joann's, they sell these little cups that there are like 6 cups and a handle, and you can have one of those where your glitters live, and one of those where your tape lives, and one of those, you know, all of the things. So when you need something, you can grab it, and that's awesome. The next idea is to have some printed material. People will ask you, oh, when did you start painting? Oh, when did you, you know, and if you end up in these lengthy conversations, number one, it's gonna book you some gigs. That's awesome. But if the priority is to paint fast, having a frequently asked question page, you could be like, oh my gosh, thanks for asking. And you hand them your business card. And on the back, have it be like a postcard size. On the back, have your frequently asked questions and talk about yourself because they asked. And so this is your chance to share that information while you stay focused on painting. Next one is to have a line manager. The line manager will take care of all of the money, they'll take care of all of the questions, and they'll keep everything organized, and that will allow you to increase how many people you're painting per hour, and that can be awesome. Next one is to keep your black and your white brushes separate. In fact, I like to have 3 round brushes. I have in each size, one for black, one for white, and one for colors. And that allows me to, even during COVID, when you're trying to sanitize brushes and stuff, you don't have to wash out every trace of black before you go into your white. That will speed things up so much for you. The next one is offer fewer choices. This is funny, but it's real. The biggest time sucker in face painting is choice making, is decision making. And so if you have a book that has 100 choices in it, the kids are going to sit there and they're going to turn page by page by page. And that's going to take a lot of time, especially if it's their turn and you're like, come on, get in the chair. It's time to paint. We need to go. You know, like there's only so much you can do smiling at the kid, trying to get them to hurry. And we want to protect their experience. So I like to work with 4 options for like small, medium, large, and extra large. And then each one of those only has 15 choices, which might sound like a lot, but if you split it into boys and girls, then you've got 7 girl choices. So mom says, spend $5. Here's your 7 choices. And then for the kid that needs to have the red panda, oh my gosh, sure, we'll do a red panda, no problem. But I don't have a red panda as an option along with 100 other choices. So have fewer choices. The next one, this is kind of fun, is to paint assembly line style. Now this only works within a family, or, you know, this isn't something that you can apply to every kid, but if you have 2 kids in a family and they are both getting the same design, put them in the chair together, or I'll stand and I'll have one in my chair and one in the kid chair. And then that way, every time I load a sponge, every time I load a brush, I can do both. And it's like rainbow, rainbow, cloud, cloud, line work, line work. And it doesn't save that much time, but it is kind of fun to do. But it does save some time. So there's the thought there. The next one is, so again, we need to know why we're going fast. If we're going fast to make the line move faster because people are waiting, this is maybe won't work for you, but one option is to increase your price. Supply and demand is a very real business tactic. And so if people are waiting for you and there's an hour wait, if you were to ask somebody, would you rather pay $5 and wait for an hour or get the exact same thing for $10 and wait for 5 minutes? A lot of people would choose the $10 thing. Now, when we increase our price, and I don't mean double your prices, but when you increase your price, something magical happens. People that will be angry waiting for a face paint are the same people that won't pay a higher price. So it's not just you're getting half of the people that you would normally get, but you're usually getting a kinder half. And that's not to say everybody, but on average, that's what I found. And so it can be really nice because your line is shorter and you're working with kinder people and you end up having a better day because you didn't have to hurry. You were still making more money because even though you're not painting faster, you're getting paid more per face. So that's a thought worth considering. The next one that I have for you guys is to have the parents do some of your work. So just like a line manager can take some of the work. Okay, so what if you have a kid sit down and they finally choose and they keep wanting you to change the color options? How do you handle that? Such a good question, Lori. Okay, so how I handle that is it depends on how annoyed I am. So happy face all the time, right? But if the kid is bothering me, they're being like, oh, I want that, and I want that, and I want that. This is what I do. Start it with a compliment and say, you must be an artist too. That is so fun. Okay, I'm going to make some of these choices because I'm trying to do my best work, but I would love to see some of your art sometime. So you're able to understand where they're coming from. They want to be involved in the creative process. But for me, I try and make sure that I am the one that's in control. When you have two people trying to drive the same car, the car wrecks. And I have found that when I give kids too much power over where we're going, I end up not liking the result as much and feeling as confident in my work. If they continue to change and continue to change, another thing you can do is you can be like, wow, you have so many amazing ideas. I hope that you come again tomorrow and get painted again. As like okay, it's a nice way to say that there's too much. Or you can ask them to close their eyes. If they can't see your colors, they won't be able to change what color they're asking for. So there are a few different ways that you can try and control the atmosphere without it being like, I'm sorry, honey, I can't do that for you. Be like, oh my gosh, what a good idea. Okay, close your eyes for me and I'll use some pretty colors. So it's vague. Anytime you're working with kids and you want to say no, just be vague and it ends up being able to not come off as harsh. Anyway, great question, Lori. And you guys feel free to ask questions. That's the beauty of having it live. But here's our next one. So when you are splitting the work of a line manager, you can also... Oh, awesome. Absolutely. Okay, you bet. We'll go through examples of small and large here in a second. So what you can do is you can have the parent clean the face. You can have the parent put the hair in a ponytail. You can get a little bag of like rubber band ponies, like $4. Get a cute little jar that has a little dragon on it with a little sign that says, face painters love cute hairdos or something, as like a parents, please pin your kid's hair back. And so that can be super nice. The fish added to the shark. Yes. Okay, so Lori, these questions are so good. Okay, here we go. With designing on the face for speed, it's amazing to me when people are like, yes, the small cheek design takes me longer than the full mask. And that's something that you need to figure out for you. And it's going to be different at a paper face than it is going to be at another kind of event. But so here's kind of how I break my prices. If it's on the cheek, I charge $5. Now, every market is different. Every person, painter is different. So I am not telling you what to charge. I'm just giving you an idea of what has worked for me. So on the cheek is $5. If you go around the eye, even if it's the same size, if I'm working around an eye and it kind of circles around, this is $8. If we go across both eyes and it's a mask or it's a crown, but it's like this size or it's over here, whatever, that size, that's a $10 face for me. Then what you can also do is if you want to keep, well, we'll get to there. Okay, so $10 here. If I am painting hairline to chin, or if it's really intricate, then it's $15, and that's what I charge. So that's kind of my 5 to 15, depending on the size. And it's really clear. I have my cards somewhere. Oh, I actually don't have them right here, or I would show them to you. But it's really nice to be able to have it clear and have it organized. Again, that keeps me from having to explain it. I could just be like, oh, the price is on the cards from 5 to 15. And that's very simple instead of having to go through everything I just went through with you guys. As somebody's asking for extras, this is something where I call it tip chasing. I like to say yes, and then I hope I get paid more. But it is very easy to do really, really simple things. So your shark is awesome. They want a fish with their shark. Okay, what is the simplest fish you can possibly paint? For me, when I paint little simple fish, I do a stripe with like a big chunky teardrop with a filbert, 2 little stripes for the tail, a stripe for the top. That's it. And then I grab my white. When I'm doing my white on my shark anyway, it gets a dot for the eye and 3 stripes for the gills. It looks like a fish. So you can do what they're asking for, but you don't have to have it at the level or caliber that is on your sign, because they ask for something extra, they ask for something special. So you can throw it in there without it being too much of a problem. But whenever you are catering to that, is what I like to think of it as. When a kid is asking, sometimes painters will show them their entire kit and be like, what's your favorite color? And then the kid has to make a decision. So I try and minimize the decisions the kids make, and then I try to have my decisions already made. If I'm going to do a mask that has line work in the corner, I know what kind of line work I'm going to do. Going in, it's kind of like following a recipe versus making one up. It can be really nice to already have an idea of where you're going with something. So then when the kid is asking for all of those extras, you can say something like, oh, you know what? No problem, Lori. That's what I do at birthday parties. Here's my card. I would love to come to your house sometime and do this, but for today, I have to stay with what's in the sign. You know, like, you can say no. That there's this fear of like, oh, I have to do whatever the kid says. Nope, I'm the boss. I'm the artist. This is my design. So if you want to do something, by all means do it. If you don't want to, it's okay to say no and be like, oh, that's not how I paint my shark. I'd love to see how you draw a shark sometime. Maybe you can bring me a picture tomorrow, you know, and that's fine. It's okay to say no. All right. So then the next one that is something I wanted to let you guys know is that as you're having these designs that are the different prices, know that you can always shift for speed into a different area. And so find the one that is your fastest, and know that as long as the perceived value is greater, you're totally fine. So a good example is a tiger. If somebody wants a tiger painted on their face, like not a kitty, but like a tiger, it can be a lot faster to turn them into a tiger. So you can say something, if that's not on your option card, you can be like, oh, I would love to do this. Now I know the price is $5 is what you're asking for. I'd like to do a little bit of a bigger one. Is that okay with you? Because if you're trying to go fast and you know your big one is faster than your small one, you can be like, is that okay? Because I love this one. You love it because it's fast, right? You're not lying, but you can try and do something that is going to work for you. So make sure that you're aware of what you need, and then you can follow in your own needs. I have a note here and I can't remember what it means. Oh, next one. When you're choosing your prices, do easy math. Never charge coins. Like 39 cents. Oh my gosh, no. Like, we're not gonna count out pennies. For me, I did 5, 10, 15. And then I really found that the difference between 5 and 10 was a big jump. And I needed that fourth category, which is my $8 face. And then what I did was I made it into a 2 for 15. And so if they picked that $8 level, often you'd have an 8 and a 5, and the parent would be like, oh, pick off this 2 because then we get the deal. And it's not even that good of a deal, but people are excited by a deal, and it was awesome. But what it did for me was it let my math be really easy. They paid me with a 20, it was 15, here's 5 and change. And I don't have to do, okay, it was 6 and it was 3 and it was $4.50, and then I, you know, which if you have a cash register or a line manager, that's not as big of a problem. But if you're changing your own money, having easy prices, you know, can make a big deal. And with something like bling, if you charge an extra $1 for bling, what I would do is I would increase everybody's price by $1 and then use bling whenever you want. You know, that's me, that's simplifying it. But the biggest thing that I will say here, you know, is that I want to make sure you guys never shortchange a kid's experience for speed. It's so sad for me that there would be a little kid that the painter is like, okay, hurry, come on, we've got a long line, we gotta go. Like, that's what parents do, and that makes me so sad when I hear it. So absolutely, hustle, don't hurry, and learn how to do something quick. Having a parent say, wow, you're really fast, is awesome, but having a parent feel your stress of trying to be fast is not awesome. So it's not worth the little tiny bit of gain. And so that's what you want to look at as you're changing your speed is, was it worth it? Was not taking breaks and not feeding myself and not using the bathroom, was that worth it? No. Like, break out those 15 minutes is all it takes in an entire day to completely change the world for you. So definitely take the time it takes to take care of yourself and do the things that are worth it. Now, if there are things that you're doing that aren't worth it, like, oh, I'm so glad. Like letting the kid hold the mirror, posing for the photo, like all of these different things are like, oh, you know what? I don't have time for that today. I'm so sorry. You know, like feel free to say no to things that aren't worth it. But the things that are worth it, take the time. I hate when people rush the mirror. I love to make sure that I have a good 15 seconds. Don't skip 15 seconds. I've done events where I had to go as fast as possible and I didn't even show the kid in the mirror. I had the mirror across the tent and I was like, okay, mirror's over there. See you later. You know, I also will cue the parents. So I have so many thoughts. You guys are amazing to like suffer through with me as we go through all this. But the last thought that I have for you is to cue the interaction. So the way that I do that is when I get to the very end, of a design and I'm about to put on glitter or I'm finishing up the line work, when I know there's about a minute left, I will cue the parent. I will be like, okay, so we take cash or we take card, and I'm still working. So I'm not trying to get it, but they can start picking up their drinks, they can start getting things together, and then they know the kid's about to be done. So it's like, okay, you might want to get out your camera, I'm about to show them in the mirror, or whatever it is, but I start that conversation early. So there isn't this, okay, I'm done, are you guys ready? I'm not going to show them in the mirror until we're, you know, and so we try and cut off the fat, but don't cut out the meat, if that makes sense. Anyway, you guys, so fun to be here with you live. I absolutely love it. If you guys end up with what if questions, absolutely send them to me. I will keep doing some. I've got another really exciting one that I can't wait to share with you coming up soon. Thank you guys so much for your support and for the time. So I hope that this has been useful to you. What if you have to paint fast? What does that even mean? Time is relative, right? I hope so. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a marvelous day, and I will talk to you guys again soon.